as we dive into the depths of November, a month resonant with the transformative energy of Scorpio. Guys, we confront some of life's most profound experiences, grief, loss, and the rebirth that often follows. How do we navigate our emotions during the holidays when the specter of loss can feel particularly palpable? Let's take a moment of silence for those who are no longer with us this holidays. And I know this is a sensitive topic, but grief during the holiday season is something we definitely need to address because it can get kind of lonely, strange, eerie, sad, depressing. If you know, you know. Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome to Hello Vibes Me Elevation Podcast. But this just ain't any part of the show. No ma'am, no sir. This is a thought-provoking talk with Crystal, where things get real. This is where we ask the hard questions, tackle the tough topics, and sometimes throw in a little shade, all in the name of growth, of course. So buckle up, Andy, because today we are diving into something that is bound to stir the pot. You may walk away inspired, or you might need a snack to process it on. Either way, you'll leave with something to think about. And hey, remember, everything I say is coming from love. Just sprinkle with a little truth serum. Ready? Let's get into it. Your girl Crystal is on the go. Let's go. Today's episode, entitled, How Do We Navigate Our Emotions During the Holiday When Dealing with the Experience of Grief and Loss. Scorpio is the month of death, rebirth, and transformation. So it brings up these type of topics. Not to mention that this is when the holidays usually start during November, and then it follows on out. So this brings up a lot of unwanted feelings and sad thoughts. You know what I mean? Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the feeling of loss and rebirth. The rebirth is actually learning how to live again with that loss and grief that we have experienced. And that's the gossip right there. That's the hurt and the healing right there. See, grief is often seen as a linear journey with an endpoint. But what if we viewed it instead as a cyclical process, deeply intertwined with our transformation, especially during this time of year? We're reminded that death and rebirth are not just themes and then caught, they are part of the human experience. So when we talk about grief, let's talk about death. What if we view death as a cyclical process, which is almost like reincarnation? Or some of us can view it as the linear journey. This person just lives, they dies, and that's it. That is a controversial take. So whichever you choose, I choose the cyclical process. But either way, guys, we're going to break down and explore the topics, understanding grief and bereavement. All right, guys, part 1, we're going to talk about understanding grief and bereavement, the grieving process, and the different personalities of people who are grieving. So when we talk about grief is when you suffer a loss. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but it can be any kind of loss. It doesn't necessarily have to be the loss of a friend or a loved one or a person. It's anything that you lose, that you experience a loss from, experience a feeling of grief from losing it. This can be breaking up. This can be losing a brand new car. This could be losing money. I mean, whatever you feel that is very dear and important to you and that impacts you and it's a loss, that is grief, including the death of a loved one, a friend, or someone close to you. Bereavement is strictly just suffering a loss from someone that you love, a loved one. It's a death of a person. That's what bereavement is. So this is the difference between grief and bereavement. Now, this whole segment is definitely dedicated to bereavement, but it's also grief as well. Because grief is something you're going to always experience when you lose someone. It's just, grief can be more than just that, if that makes sense. Okay? Grief, when we talk about grief, y'all, if you've never really experienced losing someone close to you, I'm just glad that you have never had to experience that. And if you don't understand someone grieving, say you don't understand. The last thing the person that's grieving need to do is be put on the time frame, be made to feel like their feelings is minute, be made to feel like they're overreacting, be made to feel like, okay, it's enough, or be made to feel like it's a time to grieve and it's a time period, a time frame. If you've never felt that feeling that they feeling, just thank God that you haven't, and just say you don't understand. Maybe they can help you understand, or maybe you just be okay with not understanding something. And just know that this is somebody that you care about and they're hurting. That's all you need to know if you don't understand anything past that. I get it. When I was going through my grieving, nobody at my level understood me at that time. It took some time in some other situations for it to be a better understanding. Hell, I didn't even understand what I was going through. All I know is I wanted to know when it was going to be over, because people made me feel like it was a time for it to be over. And I remember going to go talk to a grieving counselor. I had one session, just one. And it was one thing that she said to me. I said, when is this going to be over? I just feel like, it's never going to be over. And then I'm just going, and she said something to me that very simple, but it clicked. You never have to get over it. You just have to learn to live with it. And that made me look at things different, because I was rushing to hurry up and do what everybody else thought I should do, hurry up and get over it. The thing is, when you lose somebody that's close to you, especially someone that you share your life with every day, whether it's your child, a best friend, a parent, people come, they grieve, they go to the funeral or whatever, they see the funeral of the body, they go home, they sad a little bit, and they go back to their lives. But this is your life. This is something that you're living with every day. So again, if you don't understand it, that's fine. Maybe you're just not meant to understand it. It's okay with not understanding things sometimes. Another thing, something my aunt told me, she passed away too, but it was something that helped me. It's real simple. She said, you gotta let your heart break. And that was one thing I was not trying to do. I kept holding on to my heart not breaking. So if anybody out there, I know it's hard, but just let it go. Let your heart break. Now, the grieving process. There are stages of grief. 5 stages. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And how you experience these, it is in no specific order. And it's not like it comes in different stages and it stays for a while and it goes. No, it's up and down. It's up and down. You might go through denial first, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Then you're starting to cycle all over again. Then it's bargaining, anger, denial, depression, acceptance. So denial, you just don't want to come to terms with it. Anger is you're mad that the person left. Like, how dare them leave you? Bargaining is like, say if they're going through their stages or something. Say if somebody gets shot you in the hospital. God, if you just let him live or let her live, I'll do this or do that. Then you go through a depression, and then you go through an acceptance. And the process it's no time frame on it. It doesn't stop it doesn't go through the 5 stages, stop and never come back. No, this is more than likely something you're going to deal with for the rest of your life. See, now why most of us know about the 5 stages of grief, most of us rarely know about the personalities. So in addition to the well-known stages of grief, people also experience grief in different ways. And these are the personalities that can offer additional insight into the various ways grief manifests and help you identify how you may respond to loss. You have the nomad. This is the personality that experience grief like an emotional roller coaster. They move through the stages of grief in a non-linear fashion, jumping between denial, anger, sadness, and acceptance. The roller coaster ride can make them feel disoriented or exhausted. And for them, the grief is unpredictable, and they may find themselves crying one moment and feeling numb the next. Their journey may seem erratic, but this is a natural part of their healing process. I can align with that. The memorialists. Grief is often expressed through a deep attachment to the memories of their loved ones. They hold on to the keepsakes. They write letters or keep a journal to preserve the person's experience. Their grief may involve constant reflection, and they may feel a need to revisit memories through photos, songs, old letters. And this right here, guys, this allows them to feel close to the deceased, though it can also make letting go more difficult. I can align with this one as well. The normalizer. This is the person who seeks to return to the way life was before the loss. The world feels way too chaotic or broken, and they just long for stability and normalcy. They may distract themselves with work or routine to avoid the discomfort of facing their emotions. Normalizers, they often try to recreate the life they had, which may sometimes delay the healing process. So it's important for them to allow space, for new experiences that don't erase the memory of their loved one, but instead honor it. And I know it's hard. I don't know if I align with the normalizer too much. The activist, this person now, they often turn their grief into action. Like they'll find a higher cause or meaningful purpose in the aftermath of loss, channeling their emotions into like advocacy or charitable work by helping others. They also feel as though they can honor their loved one's memory in a way, so they create positive change in honor of that loved one. And their grief may push them to make a difference in the world, and their sense of purpose can bring healing out through services. Then you have the seeker, last one. This is the one I really align with. This is the one I ended. This is where I really connected. And this is the seeker's grief. This leads them to a deep introspective journey. Now they may turn to religion, spirituality, or philosophical reflection to understand the meaning of life and death. This search for purpose may involve meditation, prayer, self-reflection, and it can lead to transformation or awakening, which it definitely did. These seekers often believe that their grief serves as a path towards understanding their higher purpose or connection. Absolutely. Now, guys, I did write a blog. This is off the blog I wrote. I have not published it yet, but I am going to publish it on my website. And also, it'll have some numbers too, in case you're going through something for the holidays and you need to reach out to somebody. Some grief assistant resources. So, check out the website. Part 2, grief during the holidays. Increased sensitivity and coping with triggers. See, the holiday season, it can heighten feelings of loss and loneliness. Why? Because this is a time where family comes together. This is a time where friends come together. Memories are shared, ideas, gifts, love. And usually if that person was like everyday person, they were there for all them holidays, or at least some of them, and even if they wasn't there for all of them, when the family gets together, it's only natural that they talk about them, or it just heightens feelings of loneliness. So many studies and experts report that grief often becomes more intense during the holiday season, largely due to traditions, shared memories, and the social expectations associated with celebrations. So psychology professionals have observed that familiar holiday rituals such as family meals, decorating, even specific holiday songs can bring the absence of a loved one to the forefront, intensifying feelings of loss. And holidays are typically time of unity, and when loved ones are missing, their absence can feel magnified against the backdrop of communal celebration. And that was in Psychology Today, Mayo Clinic News Network. Additionally, the expectation to gather, celebrate, appear Joyful during the holiday can conflict with the internal reality of those who are grieving. So for many, navigating these expectations while managing personal pain, that can be overwhelming. And the Mayo Clinic expert note that artifacts like holiday decorations or specific dishes linked to traditions also act as strong triggers for grief because they hold powerful memories of those who are no longer present. So guys, these insights highlights why holidays can be uniquely challenging for those dealing with loss and suggest the importance of making flexible plans, honoring one's emotions, and creating new traditions that allow for a greater experience during these times. So my friends, I want y'all to know that this is normal. Increased sensitivity. There's going to be triggers that come up. Again, songs, scents, family traditions, a certain specific family member that may come around. It's going to happen. And there is no 100% cure for this. Again, it takes time, healing, some type of acceptance, just some type of it, a little bit of it, a little bit at a time, but take your time. Just don't beat yourself up. When, if it's increased sensitivity during the holiday, it's normal. Like, come on, you lost someone that you love. It never goes away. I don't care if it's 15, 20 years from now. Like, my fiance and my dad has been gone for 13 years, and I still feel it. That's a long time. Somebody say, oh, wow, some that haven't been through it. But those who have, we know that there's no time frame on it. We just recently, a few years ago, lost my nephew. That's a whole new, different type of grief. Me and my family found ways to learn how to live with it, especially during the holidays. So for us, on his birthday, we get a cake, we sing happy birthday. Every year on, what holiday is it? Thanksgiving, duh. Every year on Thanksgiving, we go to Myrtle Beach because that's the last place we were all at right before his accident. And we all go. We get our Airbnb, whatever you call them things. We have the only time we know how to have. And we allow a safe space for us to get our emotions out, for us to cry, for us to talk. Nobody's angry at anybody. We just are, at that point, we're enjoying his memory and we are honoring his memory. This year, I don't believe we're going to make it to Myrtle Beach. But we found other ways. We're going to always all come together on that day, especially for my sister, because it's my sister's son. That's a given. Let me think what else. The 4th July is when it happened. So every year on the 3rd of July, we go to Myrtle Beach. His father's from Rhode Island. He flies down to South Carolina. It's me, my mother. We all get together. Those are the two times. And again, we allow that safe space. So that's one of the ways we kind of learn to live with it, Not that we have much of a choice, but, that's how me and my family handle the loss that we just recently suffered. All right, guys, well, I'm going to move on to practical tips for dealing with grief over the holidays. I share what me and my family does, but this is just some practical tips, okay? All right, guys, part 3, practical tips for dealing with grief over the holidays. And before I move on to this, I just have to throw something out here. Things that people who lost somebody wish people wouldn't say all the time. They are in a better place. First of all, please stop saying that. We don't feel like that at that time. Now, whether we ever feel like that, you got to give us time. You got to give people time. That is not the first thing you should say they're in a better place, because in my mind, he was not in no fucking better place. He was better off here where I was at. I didn't want to hear that. That didn't make me feel better. It made me feel worse. And I've talked to a lot of people and they feel the same way. Second thing is, I'm sorry. It didn't bother me too much, but I've talked to several people who they feel like when you say, I'm sorry, it's a feeling of, it's just not good to say sorry all the time. Some people are okay with it. Like me, I never even felt, but I've talked to more than a few people that I'm sorry. Every time you see me, it starts to bring up emotion, starts to make me feel a certain way. It starts to make me feel pity, like you pity me. Yeah, something like that. So, gosh, it was something else. Them is the only two I can remember now. But I'm definitely going to have an episode on one of these episodes is going to be about grieving. It's going to get deeper. I'm just going to have some guests on it. I already got the episode planned out. It won't be this month, but okay, so here go the practical tips. The first one is acknowledging your feelings. All right, guys, it is okay to feel sadness. All right, it's okay to feel joy simultaneously. I know you feel guilty sometimes if you're feeling joy, or if you feel like you're not thinking about them every minute. But it's okay. Accept your emotions without judgment, okay? Just get through this the best way you can. It didn't come with no pamphlet or no book. But any moment of joy that you can grasp it. And if you're feeling sad, that's okay too. Create new traditions. Find ways to honor the memory of the deceased one. This could include lighting a candle, sharing stories, or engaging in activities that the loved one enjoyed. Set boundaries. It is perfectly acceptable to decline invitations or limit time spent in overwhelming situations if you're not ready. And if the person don't understand, that is not your shit to carry. This is about you, and sometimes you gotta be a little selfish. Reach out for support. Talk to friends, family, support groups. Because grief can be isolating. It can feel isolating. And connecting with others can provide comfort, whether you believe it or not. It really can. Just talking about things sometimes. Me, I was a writer. I wrote my ass off, I'm telling you. And by the end of it, at the end of my writing segment, I always felt just a little better. And that's just me. I wrote. Practice self-care. Meditation, exercise, or simply just take some quiet moments for yourself. Those are the best 5 practical tips I can come up with. Because like I said, there's no cure for grieving or bereavement. There's no cure for a broken heart. That shit just, it's like a whirlwind. It's like you fucking in a fetal position, and it's just this pain, and it has nowhere to go. It's just festering inside. Or like I was telling my sister, it's like, I don't know if you ever seen this movie 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler and I think it's Drew Barrymore, I believe so. That's how it feels. It feels like you relive that same pain every day you wake up, especially in the beginning. Like, oh gosh, you have to remember, like you finally get to sleep, you gotta remember, oh gosh, they're gone. Now you gotta live that pain all over again. I know when it was the first time I ever experienced something so close to me, I didn't like going to sleep. I hated going to sleep because I knew if I went to sleep and woke back up, I was going to relive that shit all over again. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, that's how I felt. Anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. And again, the numbers and resources for grieving, it will be on my website. I have not published the blog yet, but I promise you it will be published. Okay? Go check it out. And now I want to do an audience check-in. All All right, my vibers and vibettes. How do you cope with loss during the holidays? It would be very, very enlightening to share your experience and strategies that helped you through a tough time. Somebody else can probably definitely use it right now. So if you have any other ways that you dealt with it, any suggestions, please leave it in the comments. Again, if you listen to this on YouTube, you can leave it in the comments. You can like and subscribe, please. Also, trying to think. Don't forget to check out the website for the resources and stuff. But if you have a story to share, guys, don't hesitate. And the takeaway this holiday season, I challenge you to carve out a memory for yourself and your feelings. Whether it's writing a letter to your loved one or lighting a candle in their memory, honor your grief in a way that feels right for you. And always remember, guys, and this is just to wrap it on up, grief is a personal journey. There is no right or wrong way to experience this, okay? Don't let nobody tell you anything different. And, subscribe if you want more episodes. Share this topic with someone who might be struggling and remind them, it's okay. Even if you don't understand, I don't understand, but I'm here. And this is the closing thought or mantra. Grief is not a sign of weakness. It is a testament to the love that we've shared. Embrace your journey, knowing that healing takes time, guys. And with that, I'm going to say namaste. And remember, guys, protect your energy like the Secret Service protect the president, but not John F. K. Your energy is expensive. Be mindful how you spend it. And I'm sending nothing but love, high vibrations to the collective, especially to those who are suffering through grief. I know the feeling. I'm here with you. All right. Well, namaste, my baby, and I'll catch you on the next day.